Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In Nier Reincarnation, let's talk about what went down in the Aces of the Arena event, both JP and Global, and think about the future of the event and the Arena Showdown. Before the event started, I wondered in a video if folks could farm the NPCs and get a head start on everyone else, and how much influence that head start would have on the final rankings. The former turned out to be the reality, and the latter, it did have a major impact, but it was not insurmountable. It did, however, take a giant effort to overcome the handicap of not farming the NPCs, much more effort than was required for someone to climb the ranks in the Arena Showdown earlier this year. Although, this was more pronounced in JP than in Global, as their NPCs started with way more points to give out. Shiratori, a JP YouTuber, said he spent 2.5 hours climbing from 150 to 100 during the last day. That tells me that there were lots of players playing a lot and with a lot of points, trading back and forth between them. The concept behind the design of the game mode was that farming points from the NPCs, which would contribute to the end rankings, was to be done by the stronger players, quote-unquote, taking the points from the NPCs, and from there the points would trickle down, as those top players were defeated by lower rank players, who were either unable to defeat the NPCs in any consistent way, or who simply didn't get around to doing it. This trickle down eventually happened, but what it looked like for most of the week was this steep upper curve at the top, and then it flattened out when it got to like 50 and below. What happened is that a very small number of players farmed the heck out of the NPCs, and the points became very concentrated at the top. The thing about the ranking system in Nier Reincarnation is you're only allowed to challenge people up to 20 ranks ahead of you, so if you were like rank 50, you would have little access to meaningful NPC origin points, since they were so concentrated. But by the last day, that steep curve flattened out, and we had a more typical PvP arena environment. The handful of players that farmed the NPCs in the first few days are responsible for unlocking the rewards for everyone, give them their flowers, but it's the players who are right below them who flattened the curve, who picked away at the players who heavily farmed, and caused the points to trickle down to like rank 50, rank 100, and beyond. I was in that position early in the week. I was at rank 30, looking up at the bot farmers, seeing how this was playing out, and I asked myself, do I want to be Robin Hood, take from the rich and give to the poor, spread the wealth around, flatten that curve? And I was like, nah, that's too much work. So instead, I farmed myself down to the mid 400s on NPCs, to a position where I wouldn't feel the temptation to grind my way back up, and I sat out the rest of the event. So, I didn't really contribute to the event, I apologize. I didn't farm the NPCs, I didn't distribute their points. I did make some videos of non-limited clears, but I called it a day after that. Basically, I was Richard Hatch on the first season of Survivor, sitting out the final immunity challenge, but while he won a Pontiac Aztec, I'll win an Awakening Stone exchange thing. Next, let's talk about JP users' reactions and comments of the event. First of all, just in case you think I'm cherry-picking, I didn't see anyone say, I love this event, I hope they do it again, like they said after the Arena Showdown. So that's why I'm not going to be saying anybody said that. The Arena Showdown was very well received in the JP community, much better than the Subjugations Showdown because it was so much easier to join. But Kolme, the head of design, said he added the Aces aspects in order to get more of the player base involved, but I wonder if that really happened. I mean, everyone got the rewards because the conditions were met, of course, but how much more engagement was there by the average player? As we saw, the majority of the points from the NPCs were taken by a handful of the top players. That was part of my reason for making videos of non-limited clears, for folks who couldn't compete for, say, the top 100, and then couldn't farm the NPCs, but would be satisfied with, just beating them once. I made those videos to help lower level players feel more involved in the event. I saw some people congratulate everyone for taking down the NPCs, but in reality a very small percentage of the user base was actually responsible for that. It's more accurate to say that everyone benefits from the actions of the few at the top. But anyway, getting back to JP reactions, Null, longtime creator but new YouTuber, was I believe the only one that live streamed their last hour and that was great to hear what he had to say, but maybe more valuable was the folks in the chat. Reaction there and on Twitter to the NPCs themselves was good. People were interested in how they were built and how to take them down, but they felt they got in the way of the player versus player experience. The NPCs themselves were well received, the way they were presented was not. Also, the NPCs taking up one of the 3 slots in matching got annoying after the conditions were finished. They also wished you could target beyond 20 places, if only just for this event, since those points got locked up where most players couldn't get at them for most of the week. But they did say it was like the first new thing about Arena since the launch of the game, so it shows that the developers are at least trying. I don't think anyone thought the event was a failure, it was just awkward. And then Kome, he had a live stream in the middle, partway through the event, and he said the NPCs were taken down more quickly than he anticipated. But I think actually that's a good thing from the point of view of PvP, because the event played out in 3 stages basically. 1, farm the bots, 2, points from the bots trickle down, and 3, finally, PvP Arena. Getting part 1 out of the way quickly allowed for more time for part 3, the PvP part. So from the standpoint of people who enjoy PvP, this was good. If like on the last day there was still that very steep curve at the top, that would not have been good. To revisit why I was disappointed in this event, it's because it wasn't the Arena Showdown. That's it, basically. At the livestream, they said that this was part 2 of the Arena Showdown, and I got excited. I had been looking forward to this since the last one ended. People that know me from War of the Visions know that I only go hard on PvP maybe 3-4 times a year. It takes energy and prep and focus, and I can't muster that week in and week out. And so it had been a couple months since the last Arena Showdown, so I was ready to take it on, but the NPC farming part of it stepped on what I enjoyed about the Arena Showdown. The aces of the arena turned out to be a slog, a marathon, more about endurance and diligence than matching up against other players. With the Arena Showdown, I felt like it was much easier to enter the top 10 at any given time during the week, but you would get knocked down quickly. That was a kind of hyper-competitive aspect that I enjoyed. But with the aces of the Arena event, top 10 would have been off-limits to me for most of the week, and so I was disappointed and I decided not to participate and save my energy for the next one. As for the future of the event, I don't think they will do this exact format again. This was clearly an experiment, and while I expect they will go back to the first style of Arena Showdown for the next occasion, if they do Aces of Arena again, there will be changes. And here I can lay out some changes I would like to see. A cap on how many NPC points one player can get, or no points to be gained from NPCs at all, or create a different type of event where there's like a mini tower with a series of arena fights and we can all farm them to unlock rewards for everyone, or farm them for individual rewards. You know, just go as far as you want, get the rewards that you want. These are game modes common to lots of games, so it should be doable in Nier Reincarnation too. Okay, so those are my thoughts. I was not happy about having the player base needing to jump through hoops to get to a truer PvP environment, and then it only lasting for like 48 hours. But in this event is the seed of a good event. It just needs to be in different soil. That is not the Arena Showdown. I'm happy to see the developers trying, and I'm happy for the rewards we got. Okay, that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.